Yes.
I'll be able to take the Kenyans through the benefits that we cover. We actually cover 10 benefits.
Yes.
And one benefit I mentioned is outpatient. Outpatient, you are covered. You have to select the hospital where you need to be receiving care. And that hospital is paid through that method we said capitation beforehand, so that when you go to the hospital, then they'll be able to give care because they have already bought the requirement that they need to treat you. And that is why we pay them in advance. The benefit number 2 is inpatient cover. Now, inpatient cover is that every Kenyan is covered when they go to the hospital and they are admitted. However, something that I need to explain for the viewers to know is that hospitals that are empaneled and contracted with the NHIF are in 2 categories. There is what we call comprehensive hospitals, and there is what we call non-comprehensive hospitals. Non-comprehensive hospitals are what we would call the expensive private hospitals. And we know them because I don't have to name. The expensive private hospitals in the country, those ones are non-comprehensive. What happens if you go there is that NHIF is going to cover a portion of your bill, then the rest of it you have to pay from your pocket. So you may go to a hospital and you are told you have been admitted in the hospital maybe for a month, or let's say for 10 days. Your bill could be 100,000. You may find NHIF is only going to be a portion of it as per the amount that you have allocated that hospital. Then the rest of the bill you pay for yourself. And you may find actually what you're paying for yourself is the big portion, because those hospitals are expensive because they give sometimes luxurious services besides the Medicare. And it is okay, because a Kenyan can choose where they want to go, where they receive. But now you have the second category of the comprehensive hospitals, which are the majority. Those are all government hospitals. Most of the mission hospitals are what we call the faith-based hospitals, and also some private hospitals that have accepted to charge very low so that Kenyans can be able to enjoy maximally. So if you go to a comprehensive care hospital, you are covered 100% of your bill. Now, if you go to our website is www.nhif.or.ke. You'll actually be able to see, when you click on that link of hospitals, you'll be able to see which hospitals are comprehensive care and which ones are non-comprehensive, and so you choose where you go. So that is inpatient. Benefit number 3 is radiology. We cover radiology benefits, and that's why we cover ultrasound. We cover actually the normal x-rays, we cover the ultrasound, we cover CT scan, and we cover MRI. And the last 2 are very expensive radiological procedures. Many Kenyans, if they'll be told to go and do an MRI or a CT scan, they will say, wacha nikae na ugonjwa yangu, because if I'm going to pay for a single kupigwa picha, 15,000, because that is what an MRI costs. That is what Kenyans in ada kupigwa picha. 15,000. It is expensive, but now it is covered by NHIF comprehensive. Picha moja. Na hata si picha moja, ni sehemu moja ya mwili. It could even be a figure. They are taking the MRI and you'll pay 15,000. Yes, I meant a figure. It could be it could be the head. It could be the back.
Oh, ukihesabu hivyo because
yes,
you have to clarify.
Exactly.
Sehemu moja ya mwili. Yes.
So, and it is 15,000, so it is expensive. Now, but they are covered by NHIF comprehensively. If you are a member of NHIF, you go to a hospital that is empaneled and contracted, you do an MRI, it is covered.
Yes.
Another benefit is maternity cover, like somebody was asking, maternity cover, you are covered. If you go to a comprehensive care hospital, like now that case the viewer has asked, you'll be able to walk in, the baby is delivered, the mother is observed, they're okay, they are discharged without paying a single cent if you go to a comprehensive cover hospitals. Benefit number 5 is surgical. Now, for surgical benefits, we have categorized our surgeries into 3. There is minor surgeries, major surgeries, and specialized surgeries. All those surgeries, if you go to a hospital that is contracted to give that benefit, and you can always be able to confirm, you'll be covered comprehensively, 100%. Let me give an example of a surgery like I just mentioned about kidney transplant. I can also talk of a surgery like craniotomy, when you are doing an operation of the head. Or a benefit like total hip replacement. There are people who get challenges with their hips and they need to be replaced, a new hip put. So when that's a procedure that costs about 350,000 for one procedure, it is covered by NHIF comprehensively. So every Kenyan who is a member, go to a comprehensive hospital like Kenyatta and others, even Coptic. If you go to Coptic hospital, like for a total hip replacement, it is covered comprehensively. I've just mentioned that. Now, there are other procedures like renal dialysis. I mentioned renal dialysis. This is a procedure that requires you to go weekly for a procedure of that process of cleansing your blood. Per session, we cover you 9,500 shillings. So per week is 19,000. Dr. Kingoli, you can bear with me. A Kenyan being told to be incurring a bill of 19,000 per week to go dialysis, they cannot afford. They are going to sell their land, they are going to sell their property, they are going to do fundraising, and it is still not going to be sufficient. A Kenyan is covered for dialysis 2 sessions per week for the entire year. It comes to about 988,000. For a whole year.
The 2 sessions is the maximum you need. or it's just to get by?
That is if you talk with the nephrologists, the experts in that area, they'll say that is the average requirement. However, there is already an appeal by the union, that the association that represents those people who require dialysis, saying that as we are moving on, there is a need for a third session. And actually, as we are rolling out the universal health coverage, it has already been considered that you're going to have a third session instead of 2, because it appears that there are more Kenyans who are needing more than 2 sessions. But the way it has been treatment in the past, 2 sessions have been sufficient. There have been very rare cases of people needing more than 2.
Okay.
Now, another benefit is oncology. That is cancer care. In Kenya, who need basic chemotherapy, complex chemotherapy, and even radiotherapy. There's even another procedure we call brachytherapy. All that is cancer treatment. A Kenyan who is an NHIF member under the VAC program, and they go to a hospital which is covered or empaneled by NHIF for this benefit, they are covered comprehensively for that care. The other benefit is mental and behavioral health package. This is a Kenyan who have issues of drug and substance abuse, a Kenyan who is undergoing some mental challenges and they need treatment. They are covered comprehensively to go undergo rehabilitation so that they can be in their right form again to be able to operate and to move on with life properly. Benefit number 9 is, and this one I know many Kenyans are not aware of, is what we call emergency road evacuation. Kenyans are not aware that if you need emergency evacuation or rescue from a point where you have been involved in an accident or an accident has happened at home, you have no means to go to the hospital, you can call an ambulance, it picks you from where you are to the hospital and you receive treatment and you are not paying. And Kenyans need to know that there is a contracted company that for you who is an NHIF member, you can call an ambulance when you need emergency care. The point to note here, Dr. Kingori, is emergency care, so that a Kenyan is not having a headache and then saying, niliambiwa kuna ambulance, wacha niite. It is when you need emergency care.
How close to dying should you be before you call the ambulance?
Now, the people who offer emergency rescue services are experts. When you call them, they will ask you some questions which now determine they need to come and pick you. So that they are experts. And we are currently using the Red Cross under what we call the Emergency Plus. They are the ones offering that benefit. So when you call them, they'll ask you, oh, yes, Dr. Kingoria, what is the situation? How are you? Then they're able to determine whether they need to come and pick you or whether there's any other way you can be able to get to the hospital.
Or you can send the location if you're fainting.
Now, of course, there will be someone. If you are fainted, you'll not be the person contacting them. It could be a next of kin or somebody who is near. The last benefit I want to mention is, and that is the 10th benefit, is overseas treatment. Kenyans are covered if the treatment they need is not available locally. They have to seek it out of the country, India, Turkey, South Africa, and any other places. So if the doctor determines that the kind of treatment, maybe a surgery you need, is not available in any Kenyan hospital, and the Minister of Health has confirmed, because you have to go through that procedure. For NHIF to be able to cover you, you need to go through the ministry. They say, they give a letter of no objection. Yeah, this treatment is not available locally. This person can go to India or any other country. They are going to give a letter of no objection. The Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Council are going to confirm that the doctor referring you to out of the country is a qualified medical doctor to handle that procedure. Then you go out of the country and you're able to get treated, and the NHIF will pay for you up to $500,000 for that care that you need out of the country. So those are the 10 benefits that are covered by NHIF. And out of the 6,000 that a Kenyan is paying for those people who are paying for themselves, you're able to get that whole range of benefits, not just for you, but actually for your family. And actually what Kenyans need to understand under the EC program that the government has rolled out is that the money you contribute, 500 shillings per month, is equivalent to 17 shillings only per day. So you are getting 17 shillings to give your family, and it could be you, your wife, and maybe 5 children. That's a family of 7. Yeah. 17 shillings per day is able to give a family health insurance cover. Tell me if that is not a miracle.
It is truly. And
yes.
Just a clarification for the ladies, yes, before we let you go. When you say ukisema hip replacement,
yes,
is it the bone or the meat?
Thank you, Dr. Kigori, for that. Thank you for that question. When we are talking of, there is also knee replacement. It is the joint.
Oh, the joint.
What happens is that sometimes you may undergo some, you may get some infections or some problem like arthritis, which eats up the joint. Okay. So when you are talking of hip replacement, it replaces that joint. So okay, it is the joint between the bones, not the flesh. The flesh is not touched.
Oh, I'm trying to control the traffic you would see in the office tomorrow. But anyway, that has been so helpful. We have so many questions, but in the interest of time, I don't think tutaweza kumaliza zote.
Okay.
But I'm explaining power, sindio? Sawa sawa. And I believe umesema people can join online.
Yes.
You've given us the site.
Yes.
Sawa sawa. I believe we covered most of the questions. We've not even scratched the surface as far as the questions, and most of them are relevant as far as the questions are concerned.
Yes.
But I believe more and more awareness needs to be done.
Sure.
Otherwise, stay healthy people. Usiwish kukuwa na ugonjwa ya kuenda hata hizo dialysis. Unajua kuna mtu anaweza sema, nimekuwa nikilipa 500 since 2013. Naweza check in for dialysis. Don't wish yourself. Don't wish anything like that. In fact, if you can pay 500 shillings na uko sawa kabisa, I believe it's better than.
It is your health and you actually enjoy the health. You only take, it's just like the way you take an insurance for your car. You don't go hoping sinigong when you an insurance.
Yes,
you actually wish you are never involved in an accident and you are paid your full premium for a whole year. Yes.
Wapi makofi yake mazee. Asante sana. You have articulated those issues very well.
Thank you.
Asante sana kwa kuja show yetu. You're welcome to come again and again.
Thank you. I'll be glad to be invited again and come and share with Kenyans about NHIF and universal health coverage, because every Kenyan needs to enroll so that they can be able to access healthcare services that they need without incurring any financial hardship. You prepare for your care. At the time you need, you just go present yourself with your fingerprint, you receive care, and you walk home without having to pay a cent from your pocket. That is the spirit of universal health coverage.